Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Julianne and I like to make crochet tutorials as well as vlog a bit about my life as a flight attendant and small business owner. And today I'm gonna be teaching you how to make this adorable Labubu outfit, froggy themed. So if you're interested, keep watching. I also have another one that is strawberry themed, so you can go check that out as well. But without further ado, let's get started. So in order to make this pattern, you will need some green yarn, just a little bit of black yarn, and this is a cotton and acrylic mix, but if you have just cotton, just acrylic, that's fine as well. I'm using a 3mm hook. You'll need some scissors, a darning needle, and optionally, if you have these eyes that are flat in the back around 7.5mm, those are very good as well. And if you have buttons, that would also be ideal. So yeah, that's all you need to have to create this froggy outfit. So we're going to start our pattern with the hat for our froggy outfit. But before I show you how to make it, I'm actually going to ask you to watch another video that I made where I taught you how to make this strawberry hat. And I'm going to send you there because it's the exact same thing from rows 1 to 5. So once you go watch that video first from rows 1 to 5, I want you to come back here and I'll teach you how to make the final row on the edge, because that one I have another option for you, and I'll also teach you how to make the eyes. So I'll see you back right after you watch that video. So I did the first 5 rows offline and I hope you did as well. Now that we're back, we're going to do the last row of the hat, which will be the edge. And for the frog hat, I personally think it looks better with just a straight edge. So in my video with the strawberry bucket hat, I gave 3 options. One was, there was the least roughly, which is 1 double crochet and then double crochet increase all around. The second option was doing double crochet increases all around. And the third, which will make it super roughly, is doing 3 double crochets in 1 stitch and then a double crochet increase in the second stitch. So any of those 3 options would work, but I just wanted to share one more option that I think looks really good with this froggy bucket hat. So again, as always, we're gonna chain 2, but actually we're gonna chain 1 more. We're gonna chain 3 in total. And what we're going to do is something called an extended double crochet. And if you watch my video where I taught you how to make the strawberry dress, I also showed you how to do the extended double crochet, but I'll show you again. And essentially this will just make the edge of the hat a bit longer, and I just feel like it balances it out a bit more and just makes it look nicer. It's a personal preference, so you can try different edge options and see which one you like. So for this one, I'm going to do 1 extended double crochet, 1 extended double crochet increase, 1 2 1 2 1 2, and do that all around. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna wrap the yarn over, insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, and instead of pulling through both loops, you're only gonna pull through 1. And then you're going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. And that's how you do an extended double crochet, and that's what we're going to do along the whole edge. On the second one, we're going to do increase. So insert, pull the yarn through, yarn over, pull 1 loop, yarn over, pull 2, yarn over, pull 2. And insert in the same space and do that again. And now we'll do that all the way around. Okay, we just finished the last stitch of the edge, and we are going to cut off the yarn, and we're going to attach this by putting our hook into the 2 loops of the first double crochet in that row. Pull the yarn to the front, turn it around, then pull the yarn inwards, and you're going to use the back loop and the loop right underneath. You can use your hook or you can use your darning needle, whatever is easier. And then let's weave in this end as well. Alright, so I'm gonna just show you how it looks on the Labubu. Hey, that's what it looks like. And yeah, I kind of like the longer edge when it's just simple. Yeah, so this is what it looks like. For the frog eyes, what we're gonna do is we are going to make them along the chain spaces of between row 2 and row 3, right where the ears will sit. And what you can notice is there are 12 chain spaces, and you'll be able to identify them by the front of the chain loops. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And for the I keep saying ears, sorry. For the eyes, we are going to use the 2nd and 3rd from the right, and then the 10th and the 11th. So there's going to be 1 chain space at each end that we're not going to use. So you're gonna have the front facing you, and what you're going to do is you're going to insert your hook into the 2nd chain space, like so. You're going to take your yarn and pull a loop, and leave some space at the end to weave in, like so. And then from here you're going to chain 2. And then now we are going to make a double crochet cluster with 4 double crochets. So for those of you who haven't done that before, I'll do my best to show you slowly. So what you're going to do is you're going to you're going to do the first few steps of making a double crochet. So in the same space where you pulled up the loop, you're going to yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, wrap the yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and usually in a normal double crochet you would wrap the yarn around and pull through the 2 final loops, right? But we're not going to do that. What we're going to do is that we are going to start a new double crochet in the same space. So wrap your yarn around, insert your hook into the same space, yarn over, pull through the loop, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops like this. So you should have 3 loops on your hook at this time. Now we're going to do that 2 more times, so we'll make 2 more fake double crochets, but you're going to do them in the next stitch. So yarn over, insert your hook into the next chain space, pull a loop, wrap your yarn, pull through 2 loops. You should have 4 loops on your hook, and 1 more time, yarn over, pull through a loop, yarn over, go through 2 loops. There should be 5 on your hook. And now we're going to yarn over and pull through all 5 like this. So that is a double crochet cluster, and we're going to finish by doing chain 2 and then slip stitch into that same space like that, and then cut off the yarn, leaving a small tail. And then we are going to bring that yarn inside through that same space again, like so. Bring it back inside. And that is your first eye. And you can see it's kind of like bulging outwards, or it should be. And now we're going to repeat the same thing on the other side. So you can also count 6 stitches in between. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you'll start right here, the next ones. So again, it should be the third from the left. So let's insert my hook. Make a loop, chain 2, and do the double crochet cluster. That's 1, 2, and then in the next chain space, 3, and 4. So again, you should have 5 loops, and you should have 4 almost double crochets. Yarn over, pull through all 5, chain 2, and then slip stitch back into that chain 1 space and cut off your yarn. Now you can pull the yarn back inside, and that is your second eye complete. And now you can flip the inside and just tie the 2 ends together and weave it in before cutting off the ends. And you don't have to tie it too tight, but that is what it should look like. Now we are going to make the frog face. So there's 2 options you can do. The first one for the eyes, I use these, they're called plastic flat back pearls, and I have them in 7.5 millimeters, but I know they're not necessarily everywhere. So if you don't have that, you can also just use black yarn to create the eyes. So let me just take out a couple. And then you'll need black yarn for the mouth as well. So if you don't have these eyes, then what you'll do is you'll take a bit of black yarn. You probably don't need this much, even just 10 centimeters is enough, a couple of inches. And what you're going to do is you are going to loop the black yarn anywhere along the eyes. I think it's super cute if they're kind of like slanted or kind of look like it's sleeping. So I'm gonna put them in here and then go across. Again, this is totally up to your preference and creativity. So it'll look something like that. And I'll do the same on the other side. And then you would tie it on the inside, weave in the ends, and cut it off. So that's one option. But because I have the plastic eyes, I'm going to use that option. So you just take some glue, like some sort of super glue or even hot glue if you have it. And we're just gonna put some at the front of the eye. Again, you can position it however you'd like. And then glue on the eyes. One other thing to mention is that you can technically put the eyes anywhere along the front chain area. If you want them to be more close together or more far apart, you can use trial and error, but this is just my preference of where to put the eyes. Now that I've glued on the eyes, I'm going to start with the mouth. Again, take a piece of black yarn, 10 to 20 centimeters, like 5 to 10, not even 10 inches, like 5 inches I'd say. And again, you can decide where you want to put the smiley or even like a straight face. But where I like to put it is I see where is the middle point between the eyes. It won't be an exact middle point, but I go in between the two stitches that in the chain space it was an increase, and you can tell it's this one because there's an increase here. So I can go between these two. And from the back, I'm going to thread my yarn, and then I'm going to bring it in between, in the middle, diagonally, like right here, like that. And then I'm gonna come out in this spot. So it's gonna be 2 stitches apart, and then go back into the same space like this. So it's just like a little smiley face. And again, you'll just tie it in the back and weave in the ends. And this is the completed frog hat. Let's put it on our Labubu and see how it fits. Yay, it's so cute, so silly. Again, you can move the eyes closer, further apart, depending on your preference. But now that we finished this, we are going to move on to the overalls. So let's do that. For the overalls, we are going to work from the bottom up. And I created this pattern so that you would have to limit the amount of times you need to start and stop. You just need to, for the legs in the beginning, you just need to create 2 parts, but other than that, it can all be created in without needing to fasten off. Oh, another note is that this pattern can be used for both the sitting and the standing Labubu, and I made sure of that because I don't know if you have a standing or sitting Labubu or if you're giving it to a friend, so it's always good to have a pattern that's more versatile. So to begin, we're gonna start by chaining 18 stitches, but I like to start my chain by holding my yarn like so, taking my hook, twisting it upwards, and the long yarn should be in the bottom, and we're going to wrap around, and that will be our first chain. So make it kind of loose. So let's make 18 in total. Once you made 18, we are going to connect the 2 ends with a slip stitch. So make sure it's not curved, and then we're going to connect with the first chain, like so. And then we're going to do 1 chain, and we're going to do single crochets all the way around. We are going to do our first one in the same space where we did our slip stitch, and I like to carry the loose end along just so it's easier to weave in. So we're going to do 1 single crochet in each chain space, and I go through not only the top loop but also the back bump as well. But again, it's honestly a preference. It doesn't have a huge impact on the pattern, but I just find that to be easier. I've completed round 1, and I'm going to connect it to the first single crochet with a slip stitch. Now we're going to do round 2, and we're going to start with a chain 1, and once again we're going to single crochet all the way around. Okay, I've come to the end of this row, and unlike what I usually say, we are not going to do a slip stitch to connect it. What we're going to do is we're going to fasten off. So we are going to cut the end, and we're going to pull the yarn through. And we are going to save this for later, but we are going to do the exact same thing, but we will not fasten off at the end. So let's do the first 2 rows again and then join me back here. So I just finished 2 rows of 18 single crochets, and now we are going to get into probably the most complicated part of this pattern, but please just stay with me. I will try to explain it as clearly as possible. So on each pant leg we had 18 stitches, right? So for a total of 36. But in this next row we are going to be doing 8 double crochets, 4 half double crochets, and then 16 single crochet, 4 half double crochet, and 8 double crochets. So that adds up to 40. But we are not doing any increases, so that might confuse you a little, like how is that possible? But what we're going to do is that we are going to create 4 stitches from fake spaces, and we're going to do that with the single crochets. So I'm going to show you and just follow along, and you'll see visually how that's done. Okay, so first things first, we ended with a single crochet. We didn't connect to the beginning on either one. So what we're going to do now is we are going to go back to our first pant leg, go to the first single crochet, and slip stitch to there. So what we're essentially doing, we're joining the 2 pieces together. So we're going to go to our first single crochet and slip stitch like so. And honestly, it might be useful to use a stitch marker here just so you can keep track of what you're doing. So after you slip stitch, you're actually going to chain 2. And as I mentioned, we're going to do 8 double crochets. So starting from the same space where you created the slip stitch, we're going to do a double crochet, and we're going to do 8. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That was easy enough. Now we are going to do 4 half double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that part's also pretty easy. Now is the more complicated part. So we did 8 double crochets and then 4 half double crochets. That adds up to 12. And then since this pant leg is 18, we can do 6 more single crochets until we end up at this last single crochet from before. So let's do, but then in order to achieve 40 stitches in this row, we need to have 20 on each pant leg. So we need to do 8 single crochets. So first, let's do the 6 single crochets, and we're not doing any increases. So just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, in between the first pant leg and the second pant leg, if you kind of open it up, you'll see that these are not real stitches. They're like edges of stitches or places where we connected, but we are going to use these spaces to create our 4 extra single crochets, 2 on this side and 2 on this side. And note that this right here is the first single crochet of the other side. So we have to do, like, what we're going to do is we're going to do like 1, 2, 3, 4. And it doesn't have to be those exact spaces, but you want to just space them out. And I would pull along the loose end. I'm so sorry if this is confusing. You might have to practice a couple times to do it, but another reason why we're doing this is that we don't create a hole in between the pant legs. So I'm gonna go here. So that's 1 single crochet. And then I'm also going to go right here. That's 2 single crochets. And then now on the other side, I'm gonna go maybe in here, this space. Again, I'm gonna pull along the yarn. That's 3. And let's do one right here in this space. And that's 4. Okay, perfect. So those are the 4 extra stitches that will allow you to have 40 stitches in this row. Alright, now we continue on right away into this next single crochet space. We're going to do 6 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we're going to do 4 half double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. And finally, if you counted correctly, you should be doing 8 double crochets in the back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Perfect. So that is how you get 40 stitches. 8 double crochets, 4 half double crochets, and you have a total of 16 single crochets, 4 of which we created in the middle, and then 4 half double crochets and 8 double crochets. And we will finish the row by making a slip stitch into the first double crochet. And that is the end of, I would consider this row 3. Now row 4 and row 5 are going to be the same, and it's essentially the same as what we did in row 3. We're going to do 8 double crochets, 4 half double crochets, 16 single crochets, 4 half double crochets, and 8 double crochets. So let's do that for the next 2 rows. Okay, I just completed row 4 and 5, and I'm going to end the row as always with a slip stitch. And in row 6, we are going to be doing the all double crochets, but we're going to do a few decreases. So chain 2, and we are going to do 8 double crochets, and then we're going to do 2 decreases, and then 16 double crochets, 2 decreases, and then finish off with 8 more double crochets. And we're going to end with 36 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And for the double crochet decreases, if you've never done one, this is how you do it. So it's kind of like the frog hat cluster actually. So we're going to, let me show you again. You're going to wrap your yarn around, pull through, wrap around, pull through 2, and then in the next stitch you're going to wrap the yarn around, pull through a loop, wrap around, pull through 2 loops, and then pull it all together. That's 1 double crochet decrease, and we're going to do 1 more here. and then 2. And now in the front we're going to do 16 double crochets to get to the other side. Okay, I did 16 double crochets, and then we're going to do 2 double crochet decreases. There's 1 and 2. Perfect, and now we will do 8 double crochets to finish this row. Perfect, so we'll make a slip stitch to finish off this row. For the last row, we are going to be making the straps for the overalls. And for this version I'm going to show you, you will need 2 buttons. If you don't have buttons, I'll show you, basically you do the same thing, but instead of buttoning on the straps, you'll just have to sew them on and you won't be able to put them on and off. So I'll show you where you need to modify your stitches to create that effect. So what we're going to do is chain 2, and then we're going to do 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. And from here you're going to make a series of chains to create the strap. If you are using the button method, you will chain 15. If you are just using no button method, you can chain 11. So I'm going to show you both versions. So if I chain 15, chain 15, then what you're going to do is you're going to skip 5 chains, and then you are going to slip stitch 10 all the way down. And if you decide to not use buttons, you are going to have 11 chains, and then you're going to skip 1 and you're going to do a single crochet in the next chain, and you're going to slip stitch all the way down. So only single crochet in the first one. So those are your 2 options. And since I have the buttons, I'm going to just do the button version for the video, and for the sewing version, I'll just show you how to do it, but I won't show on camera. So again, we're going to skip 5 chains and then slip stitch all the way down. After you finish doing the slip stitches, you're going to do double crochet in the next 2 stitches. There's 1 and 2. And there'll be a little gap here, but that's okay. Now we're going to do 2 half double crochets. So 1 and 2. And then we're going to do 6 single crochets. Okay, now we've arrived at the front, and we are going to create a little section where, you know, with overalls it has a little section here, and that's where we'll also sew on the buttons. And it's going to span across 8 stitches in the front. What we're going to do first, we're going to slip stitch in the next space, and then we are going to chain 3. And if you remember, I showed you how to make extended double crochets for the hat. Well, we are going to do 8 extended double crochets along the front. We're going to do the first one in the same space that we did the slip stitch. So as a refresher, wrap the yarn around, insert, pull up a loop, wrap the yarn around, pull through 1 loop, yarn around, pull through 2, yarn around, pull through 2. And we'll make 8 of those. After I finish that, we're going to chain 3 again and slip stitch into the same space where I did the last extended double crochet. Now from there we're going to do the reverse of what we did before. So we're going to do 6 single crochets, 2 half double crochets. Half double crochets, and then we are going to do 2 double crochets, and we're going to do our chain and slip stitch, and we're going to finish with 4 double crochets. So 1 and 2, and then chain either 15 or 11 depending on which method you chose. And then 4 double crochets in the last 4 stitches. And we're done. Let's cut off the tail and then fasten off, pull the end loop towards the inside, and we will use our darning needle to fasten off all the ends. I'll do that off camera as well. Now if you chose the button methods, we are going to sew on the buttons. I just use a piece of the yarn that I've already been using, and I just split it so that it's not as thick. If you have a thin sewing needle, then I recommend taking that. And just sew on the buttons onto the corner of each side like this. And there's no perfect method, I just go crisscross. And I go over it a few times just to make sure it's super secure. I tied off the ends, and now we can snip snip. I'd also weave in the ends, but I'm low on battery, so I want to finish this video as soon as possible. But this is what the overalls look like, and I will try them on the Labubu. So this is how it fits on the sitting Labubu, and then I just need to bring this to fasten it. I hope you enjoyed this video on how to make a froggy outfit for the Labubu. I hope you enjoyed, and if you haven't checked out my video on how to make the strawberry outfit, you can go check that out as well as a few other tutorials on my channel. And I will keep doing my best to upload more tutorials, and I hope that you subscribe, like, and comment. Thank you, and see you next time. Bye!